The NICU Investigation, Part 3. Well, I've been speaking about this NICU nurse, Erin Stratman, who has been charged with injuring and hurting babies in the neonatal intensive care unit, more specifically fracturing their limbs, I guess their arms or their legs, which is, I can't even think about what these babies went through and the agonizing thoughts that the parents are going through. These babies were premature and just fighting to breathe and to live here on this earth and in the place where they're supposed to be the safest and the taken care of. They were being injured and harmed. But this is the father getting ready to speak about the NICU investigation.
Because then whatever that was done in the dark comes to the light, and sometimes you don't necessarily want to know what was done.
Dominique Hackey, the father of one of the Henrico doctor's NICU babies found to have broken bones in 2023, concerned that it has taken so long for justice.
I remember her being in the room. She was friendly. She answered questions, but she didn't stay and talk like the other NICU nurses did. She wasn't family like the other NICU nurses were.
She wasn't family like the other NICU nurses were. And if you don't know, NICU stands for Neonatal Intensive Care Unit. It's a very specialized unit where nurses are trained to be able to administer medication, care, even resuscitate babies and give them treatments so that way until they develop and able to breathe on their own and go home. It's a specialized unit. But he remembers this nurse, Erin Stratman. He remembers her coming into the room, speaking to them, answering questions, but not staying like the other nurses. He said she wasn't family. And so if you don't know anything about NICU, you may have this particular patient for months, and you may see the parents every single day. So you form a bond not only with the patient, the baby, but with the parents that come in. And he said she just didn't stay around to get acquainted, to talk. She came, answered questions, and left because she was the culprit. She was the one that was fracturing these babies' legs and arms or whatever was being fractured, allegedly. And then she's sitting there whimpering and looking sad in the picture. I'm sorry. There's just certain things, you can show grace and mercy for people, y'all. But in this situation, what bothers me the most is the leadership at the hospital. Listen to what happened.
He's describing 26-year-old Erin Stratman, the nurse now in jail, charged with felony child neglect and felony malicious wounding, related to a different baby in 2024. Stratman was put on paid administrative leave by the hospital for a year after the 2023 cases of NICU abuse came to light.
Did y'all hear that? Now, in part 1, in part 2, and I'll link those in the cards at the end and in the description box. They put this lady on administrative leave with pay for 1 whole year. Now I'm trying to think, I'm like, why would HR do something like that? Obviously, they must have assumed that maybe, just maybe, why would you put somebody on administrative leave for a year with pay if you didn't think they had something to do with it? This went back to 2023. And from 2023 to 2024, she was on administrative leave. But no sooner did Mrs. Stratman get back to work, okay, and probably for that whole year, there were no fractures. So they should have known, ding, 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 if she's not been here for a whole year, and none of these cases have occurred anymore. My thing is, for that whole year, were y'all looking at footage? Were y'all looking at tapes? What were y'all looking at? I think the common denominator was Erin Stratman. They put her on leave for a whole year, but then they brought her back. Now, I don't know. I don't think they could have put her on another floor. Let me tell you why. She's specialized and trained to do NICU. The other places like labor and delivery, maybe mother baby, she would have to get additional training. She probably could not work med surg. That will require additional training. So while the investigation was going on, I guess they had to place her somewhere, and I guess their thought was to keep her home. But for 1 whole year with pay, So they bring her back. The end of last year in 2024. And guess what happened? Can you guess? Yes. More babies getting injured and fractures. But who I don't understand 1 year would pay y'all on administrative leave. Does she know somebody there at the hospital? Because I know FMLA is only 12 weeks when you're sick yourself or with a family member. They're not giving you a whole year paid anything. Short-term disability typically ain't even a year. So I'm trying to figure out how they came to this decision. But anywho, let's finish going back to the tape.
And then was allowed to return in late 2024. Hackey saying the hospital should be held accountable as well.
I agree.
Because that shouldn't have happened. If they were suspicious of some person enough to let him go, they shouldn't have brought him back.
Absolutely. If you left this young lady out for 1 whole year and nothing happened, you obviously sent her on a leave, administrative leave for a year because you thought something. The common denominator when they looked at the charts was she was involved. And the whole year that she wasn't there were no fractures. So why would you let her come back? Just why? Okay? So I'm just clueless as it relates to that. And guess what? As soon as she came back,
So that's on them. They failed.
they failed. I
HCA,
agree.
the network that oversees Henrico Doctors Hospital, issuing this statement, saying in part it is shocked and saddened by this development in the investigation and that the hospital is focused on continuing to care for its patients. Stratman was just fired from her job on Thursday, Henrico police arresting her that night. Henrico's Commonwealth's attorney, Shannon Taylor, says the investigation is not over and more charges could come as detectives continue to review NICU video footage.
We will continue to work on building cases if there is evidence present to build other cases to find if there's additional criminal culpability.
Families of some of the young victims from both 2023 and 2024 were present for Stratman's arraignment, seen leaving the courtroom in tears.
He is crying. He's a loving father, and he is literally in tears. They went to her arraignment, and she was arrested, and the prosecutor is saying that they're going to investigate, that the doctors that the law enforcement, they're looking through footage. They had a year. Had they not looked through previous footage? Now, I don't know how long Erin worked at that hospital, so maybe they're going back to when she first started. But obviously, this young lady has something inside of her that is so wicked and evil that makes her want to, as soon as she got back, she started, in my opinion, and from what they saw, because there were cases in 2023 and in 2024, late 2024, as soon as she got back.
Some hugging each other for comfort.
Thanks for watching.
That is absolutely crazy. Let me find this other article here that we can look at. And this is just ridiculous. They let her come back. I can't, in my mind, even think. They obviously were suspicious of something, like he said. Former nurse makes first court appearance after being charged with child abuse in Henrico Doctors Hospital NICU investigation. She's charged with malicious wounding and child abuse after an investigation into babies with unexplainable fractures. She made her first court appearance on Friday. In the morning of Friday, January 3rd, 26-year-old Erin Stratman of Chesterfield County was arraigned on charges of malicious wounding and felony child abuse in connection, according to court records, stemming from an incident in November 10th, 2024. So it doesn't say she's being charged with the previous ones in 2023. As soon as they brought her back, the injuries began again. So maybe that's why the county official is saying that they're going to look back at the footage. Stratman appeared by video and was being held without bond. She has a court-appointed attorney. During the hearing, it was confirmed that Stratman was a nurse at the hospital. Stratman said that she was being paid during the week. She was still being paid during the week of Thanksgiving in 2024, adding that she did not know she had been fired. So she says she was still getting paid through November of 2024. This comes after the hospital said 3 babies were discovered with unexplainable fractures in late November and December, adding that these incidents were similar to an incident involving 4 babies in 2023. So I'm trying to figure out, when did Erin stop working? When did Erin stop working? It seems like it's around November-ish, because they said they found some fractures in a child in December 2024. This is crazy. If they had notion or idea that she was responsible for this, then why did they just not allow her to come back to work or have somebody with her? No, she shouldn't have come back to work at all. The maximum statutory penalty for felony child neglect is 10 years of incarceration, and the maximum statutory penalty for felony malicious wounding is 20 years of incarceration. While she is being held at Henrico County Jail, Taylor said Stratman was ordered by the court to be barred from contact with children under the age of 18. Stratman is slated to appear in court on March the 24th at 2 p.m. My God. My God, my God. Wow. It says, due to these incidents and ongoing investigation into their circumstances, HCA Healthcare said the hospital's NICU would not accept any further admissions until further notice. Wow. This is crazy. I have never heard or seen anything like this. Her next court date is the 24th of March, and this is ridiculous. She has a major issue, and as soon as she got back, thank God she did not unalive one of these children. As soon as she got back, she started, in my opinion, and what they think, and they probably have camera footage, she fractured another child got injured. This is just evil. It's wicked. I've never seen anything like it in my life. You know, somebody that's supposed to be trusted. The family trusted her to take care of their little premature babies. It is horrendous, but I will say this. I don't know what the thought process was of the hospital and the leadership to put her on leave for a year and then bring her back. Look, I'm a nurse, not a lawyer, but I just feel that there's probably some liability here. Not probably, there is, because other babies would not have gotten injured had they not brought this child back. The pain, the suffering. Did you see that man crying over his baby? Y'all might as well just write the check. Look, for y'all legal sleuths and your legal eagle beagles and your lawyers out there, let me know what y'all think about this case, because it looked to me like HCA just gonna have to write the check. There should be anybody who tries to deny this or say it ain't so and it's on video. But the fact that they had her away for a year, paid her, means to me that they thought that there was something going on, but then they let her come back. So to me, the hospital dropped the ball. That's all I'm saying. Y'all let me know down below. This story is horrible, and it shows you there are good nurses, doctors, lawyers, cops. I report on stories, but there's a bad batch in everywhere you go. Okay? And this lady at such a young age, 26 years old, and she's doing stuff like this. My God. Anyway, y'all, get in the comments down below. From what I understand, this nurse who is white, all of the babies were black that were injured. From what I understand, this is what I'm seeing on the internet. I don't know this to be true, but we will find out in other videos. I don't like to run with narratives, but in this particular situation, I'm sure that's documented and it can be verified. Let me know your thoughts about this. This is crazy. She should never work near children. They have barred her from being around children. I wonder in her life if she's taking care of other kids and they got injured. I'm sure those parents are saying, you know, she might have been the culprit. It's sad. You can't leave your kids with nobody, even the nurse child. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. Let me know what you think down below. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you on the next upload.